Paul, we were just talking about training your week that you've taken over. I mean, it seems bizarre. The game schedule means you've probably had a day and a half at most to do proper training between those games. Is that frustrating?
No, it doesn't frustrate me. It's just what it is. There's no point. I don't believe you should worry about things you can't control. The fixtures are the fixtures. The training days are what they are. The recovery days are what they are. But it's just about the players just being ready, isn't it? You know, we trained last Thursday. We travelled down to Birmingham, and Aston Villa kindly let us use one of their pitches to train. So we did a really light session there, which really was just involving some organisation for set plays. On Monday, we had the disturbance, unfortunately, of some people having a crash on the motorway, which was really, really difficult for the players because there was 8 of them stuck for about 3.5, 4 hours. So that was tough. So we had a disrupted day there, but I actually said to the players, I like a bit of chaos. I don't mind that because it makes you focus a bit more. When everything's going swimmingly, you can sometimes take things for granted, but with the chaos you have to get your mind properly tuned in, and the players were really, really tuned in for Tuesday. They had a rest day. We've trained again today, but some of those lads have put a hell of a shift in. You know, with the 2 games we've gone above the season average for distances covered by the players and high intensity and sprinting. So they're certainly putting the work in, and we can't really fault that. Now what we need to do is continue with that work ethic, continue with the commitment they're showing, but try and add some better football to it as well.
So it is a difficulty, but because it is a difficulty, has that surprised you with the response that you've had from this group? Because it doesn't feel like a group that's in trouble at the moment.
No, it certainly hasn't looked like that for a week, and I don't know what the reason is for why it's suddenly changed. I have no idea. Sometimes it's always a frustrating thing for me when I sit and watch football clubs when they change a manager, and suddenly you get a reaction from players and you think, well, why didn't you do that for the previous guy? Why is it only come now? But sometimes it's just a different face, a different voice. I'll be honest with you, I haven't even asked what Keith was like. I don't know how he managed, because it's not really fair to go asking those questions. It's more, this is what I'm going to do, and I hope it works. And so far it has, but we've just got to make sure we keep going, and if we keep doing the right things, we should get the right results, and we should achieve what we want to achieve.
Amy's been clipping some of the clips particularly from the other night, where you've got Donnell jumping on top of players and knocking them over. He's into the paddock. You've got people, coaching staff and players, falling over in the dugout area. It shows that there's something developing team spirit wise.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, and you know, credit to the players. They were trying to do that before I came in the building. You know, when I spoke with a couple of them on Wednesday and said, tell me what you're trying to do. You know, it can't always be about the manager's fault. Tell me what you're trying to do. And they said, we're trying to get a bit of spirit. We're trying to get everybody together, because they realised that there was a bulk of players came in January, and it's difficult when that happens. So they've tried to do that before I came in, and I honestly do believe that team spirit comes from winning games. It doesn't come from going out bowling and going out eating dinner together and all that sort of stuff. Those things help, but it's out on that grass. It's when you know that your mate's got your back. It's when you know that you're going to go in for a challenge and somebody's going to praise you for it, and that's what they're doing. You know, you have a look at the Orient game, and you have a look at the game the other night. The amount of times when somebody does something good, and somebody else, one of the teammates, is going and giving them a high five or patting them on the back or saying something, and that's what creates team spirit. But it only comes if you keep working at it and you keep having that real will to make things right.
I'm guessing they're giving themselves a different type of challenge, because now they're going into this weekend probably expecting to win another game.
Yeah, I haven't even asked them. I've not asked them that question, to be honest with you. I've actually just said, I think in football it's really easy to criticise, really easy, and everybody wants to criticise, but I don't think there's enough times that we actually tell people they're doing well. So I've told them this morning that they're doing really well, and I did say there'll be times where I'll tell you you're not doing well, but take it, you've done really well for a week. Now we've got to carry it on, because I think we're now 9.5 weeks to go before the end of the season, 13 games, And I said after one game, one swallow doesn't make a summer, and two don't either. So we've got to just keep going. We've got to keep working. I'm not going to say take each game at a time, but we just have to keep the season going and make sure that we keep doing the right things.
Any of those lads, the likes of Brennan Dickinson, for example, that getting closer to being back, are they in contention for this weekend?
Not for this weekend, no, none of them are. They've joined in training today. Rod and Brennan have joined in training today with a small group that went out on the grass. The plan is to build them up, is to give them more and more match minutes. I'm looking a little bit further ahead, and maybe it's a bit too far ahead, but we've got the Cumberland Cup game against Carlisle City. I think it's the 22nd, I think I'm right in saying that. If we'd not had to push them into action earlier, they will get minutes in that, because I see that as a really good opportunity for some of the lads who won't have had match minutes between now and then. I think it's really important to get minutes out on the grass, and there will be some pros who will play in that game to give them the time, because after that point we're then coming into the really, really important part of the season, and I would imagine most of them are going to be needed, and they've all got to feel part of it and all feel as though they're physically capable of going out and being able to compete in the League Two if they're called upon.
Magnus, your keeper, where's he at with his back spasm?
Yep, he's okay. He's trained, he was fine, no problems at all. I think it's just one of them things you just have to manage, but he wants to be out there, he wants to be involved, so again, he's trained. So Joel's operation, I'm led to believe, went really well yesterday. Kelvin is still a few weeks away. We're still looking at, I spoke to him the other day, and I'm being told early April, and he said he'd love to be back just before that, so we'll see. And Jimmy as well, Jimmy Torre, he's trying to build up his work. He's going to start getting pushed a little bit harder maybe next week, and again, he's another one that if we can have him fit for maybe the last 10 games of the season, for me they're going to be like new signings coming in. I don't know what they're going to be like, but they're experienced players who will come back into the group.
Oldham, Paul, they've sorted themselves out. They've got themselves on a really good run of 7 games unbeaten, so it's going to be another tough test.
There's no doubt about that, because Shez gets his teams working. They've got a really simplified way that they play, but they're really effective, and they've had a good run of results. Little bit unfortunate the other night in the game with the goal they conceded, a little bit of a deflected cross come shot type thing that went in. So we know it's going to be tough, but we're going to go into it full of confidence, full of belief, on the back of 2 really strong performances. But I've said it many times already in this week, I really want us to be in a bit more controlling games. I want us to be able to pass the ball better, and I'm not saying it's going to be silky football that you see in Champions League and this sort of stuff, but I still think we've got players with the ability to show more control than we are at the moment. You
answered this one the other night, but this term 6-pointer is not something that you like, is it? Because it's actually 3 points per game.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's it does always make me laugh because it gets rolled out all the time, doesn't it? But it's I understand what people mean, but I'm just a miserable sod and I don't believe in that. So it's a really big 3 points. If we can get a result this weekend, it gives us 3 consecutive wins, and let me tell you, that's no mean feat to be able to do that. You've got to have consistency, and if we could get three without jumping ahead, if we could get 3 wins, that would make this a top week, not just a good week.
Shez, he was talking today in the press about how much he enjoyed his time at Carlisle. Tommy Wright, Hallam Hope, Nicky Adams. There's links in there. Does that make any difference on a match day like this?
I hope not. I like Shez. I like Tommy as well. I don't know the other 2 guys, but they're real good football people. So it'll be good to see them. But I just hope he's losing his head and moaning like hell on Saturday, because we're on top in the game and we're getting the result out of it, which is what we all want.
Still a case with you still learning, I guess, about your players, about concentrating on us?
Oh, without a doubt it is, yeah. I mean, I'll be I've looked at Oldham. I've got the clips of what they're all about from the last 2 games. We've got reports on them. It really is about us. It's about us going out and doing our jobs properly. The players, whoever's selected, have just got to go and carry on doing what they've been doing so far, because it's been working.
And just finally from me, Paul, fans, I think it's near 1,100 so far. Could be another 200 or 300 that will come on the day. Doesn't surprise you. You know all about that, but they're really getting behind the message that you've asked them to get behind.
Yeah, they're getting behind the message that I've asked, but they're also getting behind the players. The players are the ones who've gone out and produced a performance. If I'd have asked that last Wednesday and we'd have lost at Orient and lost on Tuesday night, they wouldn't be coming out in the numbers. So the players have gone and been absolutely brilliant. They've shown, you know, when you're at the bottom of the table, it's always easy to question commitment and work ethic and all of the really, really basic stuff that I don't think there's no reason why that can't be there, because nobody can stop you. The opposition can stop you from playing well. Nobody can stop you from running, from working, from tackling, from being committed. So the players have done that, and we've just got to keep doing it. As a whole group, we've got to do it, you know, and fingers crossed that's what we see. Thank you.